The mission of the National Integrated Power Project is sustaining an effective and efficient power supply as one of the critical agencies of the government in the sector. With many years of successful history on the implementation of the NIPP mandates, about 14 years ago of hard work since establishment, the project is a household name in Nigeria, given its vast portfolio of investments across the value chain of electricity industry and contributions to national developments. It is therefore instructive to say the NIPP is today doing more on assets management and ensuring daily contribution on the national grid while working very hard with stakeholders on the completion of those projects that are yet to be delivered. Well, in this edition of the program, we bring to you updates on the Geregu NIPP power plant in Kogi State, which sector players and admirers of engineering technology describe as a reference point in the sector. I am Bolanle Oluchi Babalola, your guide.
As part of engagements while attending the 22nd meeting of the power sector players in Kogi State, the managing director of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited, Chiedu Ubo, inspected the plant to monitor its performance. The Geregu NIPP power station is one of 10 plants under the organization's generation portfolio and has unique and interesting history on project implementation and delivery. For 27 months, men and machines, following contractual agreements signed between the federal government and Siemens Nigeria Limited, did not compromise the completion date as the two sides kept all the conditions of funding and executing the project. In fact, Geregu plant was the last contract under the generation arm of the NIPP project to be awarded and the first to be completed and inaugurated. The technical configuration of the plant consists of 3 gas frame turbines, each with a capacity of 140 megawatts. As an engineering wonder and world-class project, the Geregu Power Station since inauguration in 2003 sustains steady contribution on the national grid. The plant chief operating officer, Dauda Mohammed, took NDPHC managing director round. The officer requests more funding for maintenance and gas supply to optimize capacity utilization as he attributes low frequency from system operator among other challenges. Notwithstanding the challenges, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, while interacting with journalists, assured the nation of commitment of the Buhari administration to power sector recovery plan, which is already yielding results.
If you look at the last 3 months, the incidence of transmission system failures have reduced. Where we have had them, they have been partial failures. And if you just go around, you will also see that we've taken all of this inventory, the purchase of diesel in the country has reduced. And this is simply due to one thing: the amount of power that is being produced, that is being transmitted, and that is being distributed on the grid is increasing. NDPHC is also involved in some distribution programs in Ihiala and Okija. Okija will finish before the end of the year, so they should have power. They finished, I believe, the one in Olorun Shogo, and we should energize it soon. Omotosho is still a work in progress. You've heard also the review from our meeting in Benin Disco from when we met in Asaba. The Chief Technical Officer has briefed us today that out of the 36 communities in Ondo North that we had resolved, I think 16 in the first instance, that all the 36 have now been connected. The issue now is whether they will pay for the power. That's a big issue. People must understand that power is a product they must pay for. He has also told us the challenges that they are facing in Ondo South, but that at least he assures us that Odiaye community in Ondo South should have power before the end of the year. The difficult one is Okitipupa, where there is work to be done on the right-of-way issues and so on and so forth. We switched off part of the Daura line in order to expand the substation there, but I've instructed that they should run the substation until they give members of the community appropriate notice that they are going to switch off power, explain why, explain how long it will take, and so on and so forth. And that is one of the highest points of this meeting. All of us have signed on to improve customer service, whether it's a Genco, whether it's a Disco, whether it's a transmission company maintenance, upgrade. Everybody must notify everybody, and we must notify the public that we serve that this is going to happen. Please bear with us. It is in your interest, and this is how long it will take. So there's a lot coming on, and we expect that things can only get better.
At a meeting of sector participants, Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State used the opportunity to highlight some of the challenges of power delivery to his state and promised to ensure adequate security of power installations as the minister responds to the issues raised.
So I want to urge and encourage those that will invest in the distribution of these powers to please come up, and enough investment should be driven in that sector so that various communities in Kogi State and across the country that requires this power will have enough power. Let me give you a particular analogy. When I assumed office, there are some communities between Lokoja and FCT that over 30 years have never seen electricity. But we intervened, and today they have electricity. If there's no enough power, generated, we would have been able to intervene in that area, and today they have power. Also, as our own token contribution, in order that we support the ministry and the power sector, the dispute that arose sometimes back in Kaba, I had to immediately, upon assumption of office, wade in and resolve that particular incident. And today, the transmission company are working effectively, and I know very soon they'll complete that particular job. When the Honorable Minister, was coming, when I was told that he was visiting Kogi State, there are a lot of requests that I had, penciled down to request from him. But from his remarks, the private, meeting I had with him, and what he has stated out here, he has virtually solved the whole problem, for us. All we need now is just patience for all the various communities that we have in Kogi State. One, to identify them, and then by the time the various interventions that is ongoing now, the various substations and heavy duty transformers and the rest are being installed, I think Kogi State will have any cause to complain about power again.
Some of the policies that government initiated was the 701 billion payment assurance guarantee, which brought some comfort to the production side of power supply. Generator companies now felt safer that they could invest and they could get some money back, which would enable them pay their gas suppliers, which would enable also the bank gas suppliers pay their banks. And the evidence of that investment is really two things that we should now reflect upon, which has improved from where we were at the time. When I visited this plant in 2016, only one turbine was running at that time, only one. And the reason was that there was no gas. So for Geregu 1 and Geregu 2, only one turbine was running in each of them out of 3 turbines combined, making a total of 6. So we had roughly just very minimal capacity. Today, all the 3 plants, the 3 turbines are running because there is now some gas. Indeed, the new problem now is that we are managing the operation of the turbines, curtailing them from running to full speed because there is not enough demand at the distribution end to take all the power. So that's a new problem to have, from no power to increased power, and that we can't sell. With the same results being seen in many of the other generation companies, what we now have as a country is that our power production has reached an all-time high of over 7,000 megawatts. This was not where we were in January. So it means that our policies are working, it means that our programs are working, and we are also now able to evacuate substantially all of that power by transmission. So TCN has also done its part, moving as much of the power and improving and completing its projects. And the intervention of the state government here with respect to the Kaba station means that again we will see some progress there. But yes, 155 megawatts is a significant milestone on our journey of incremental power. But we still have a lot of work to do. Let me say very, very clearly that no one person can claim individual credit for the progress that we have made. This credit and progress is a product of teamwork, starting from our leader himself, the president, to the vice president, to many people in government, and in your own companies too. People in the local communities like in Geregu here who offer peace so that production can take place. Many people who members of the public will never see, but many people whose work contributes to our progress. To all of those people who work in the backstage, to my own staff in the ministry, I salute you for your service, I value your work, and I thank you for your hard work. More power is coming in 2018 because I know that Azura will give us another 450 megawatts in 2018. I know that we will get 10 megawatts of wind power from Katsina. I know that we will get 115 megawatts more from Bahrain. I know that Kashimbila will give us 40 megawatts in 2018. Afam 3 will give us 240 megawatts of power in 2018. Gurara is completing to deliver 30 megawatts in the same year. So is Dadinkowa in Gombe State with 29 megawatts and Kaduna with 215 megawatts. Now we cannot afford to keep all of that power and not sell them. That is not good for the business of those who have invested in power. And all of these power plants that I have mentioned certainly do not include the mini grids and the solar systems that are also coming to the market. One of the first steps we are taking through NDPHC is to try and complete some of the distribution programs and projects under the NIPP. In Asaba last month, we completed one of those distribution expansion programs. So as we are in your state, Your Excellency, the distribution projects that will be affected positively for the people of Kogi State by the
NDPHC are those in the Uhunene, I think, if my pronunciation is right, the one in Okene, the one in Ida, and the one in Aiba. So those will be affected and they will be completed very soon, hopefully before the end of the first quarter of 2018. Now, all of the work that we have to do may be like a lot of work. Some people see it as a lot of work. But I see it differently. I see it as a momentous opportunity, indeed a great privilege to be part of a revolution that will change the course of Nigeria irreversibly for the better. If you see it as I see it, then I invite you to brace yourself up for what I promise will be a very exciting journey to solve the problem of lack of meters, to solve the problem of estimated billing, and other service-related issues. I think that if we do this, as I am sure we will be in a position to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians who certainly trust in our ability as a government and as a team, working government and private sector together to deliver on their expectations. This part of our journey requires us to think about what we can do individually, what we can do collectively, and how to make it better. This part of our journey requires us to jettison our fixed positions and our prejudices. It requires us to offer solutions, not to offer disagreements, and to demonstrate a willingness to try out new things.
The communique at the end of the meeting identified and commended the NIPP for constructing a total of 7 key distribution injection substations in parts of the states, including Ayongba, Kaba, Felele, and Confluence Beach, amongst others. However, the stations are yet to be taken over by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. Other projects completed in Kogi State include expansion of the Ajaokuta transmission station and the new substation in Lokoja, strategically designed for effective power evacuation from Geregu 1 power plant under the private sector and Geregu 2 of the NIPP. The combined capacity of more than 700 megawatts is crucial to serving Abuja on newly constructed transmission line by the NIPP from Ajaokuta through Gwagwalada to the capital city and beyond. Now, turning to the south-south state of Delta, the new NIPP substation in Asaba, the state capital, has been inaugurated.
Many distribution projects as a critical arm of electricity supply chain have been completed and handed over to the distribution companies to operate and manage in their areas of franchise. The Asaba station is to efficiently service industrial clusters of the capital city and communities in the township.
Glory of God, the benefit of man. Now, let the owner, because we are handing over this asset to you.
White chicken first. Tell it white chicken. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then you have to give one close cover.
Right. Oh, yes, congrats.
The minister, while addressing a cross-section of sector participants, representatives of Delta State government and community leaders, said President Buhari is delivering on the change agenda of his administration in all economic sectors. He appreciates the men and women who worked very hard to deliver the project.
I want to first commend the managing director of NDPHC, Chiedu, for helping us to complete this. Very few people can then fairly doubt his commitment. And also the managing director of Benin Electricity Distribution Company and all of the technical people who help to build this. You never see them. Those who work night and day, those who give the approvals, those who move the papers. But it's when they have done all the hard work that they bring me. So it's on their behalf that I accept all your gratitude, those men and women who built this. So what are you going to do about distribution? This is what we are going to do about distribution. We are going to start expanding the distribution network, working through government, working through the discos with whatever investments and resources they can muster to expand the injection and distribution substation. So what you have here today is 2 new transformers, 50 MVA, and as she has said, it will help serve places like Okwe, Polomumi, Jarrett, New Jerusalem, Marbleville, and so on and so forth. So what will that mean? It will mean that from maybe 5 to 6 hours of power in rotation that you know as load shedding, you will probably now have double the capacity of 10 to 12 hours. That is progress, but it is not the end of the journey. You, the consumers now, as it gets better, pay your bills. That is the money that your service provider needs to continue to maintain these things.
Officials of Benin Electricity Distribution Company and Delta State thanked the NIPP for the project.
As part of ensuring a healthy transmission network, the NIPP has also constructed a transmission substation in Asaba. In addition to many substations, given the strategic position of Delta State in contributing to the economic development of the country. And on this note, we thank you once again for watching this edition of Powerlinks. Kindly interact with us on our social media platform on your screen. Till next week, I am Bolanle Oluchi Babalola.